Hi, welcome to the Global Village TV. At the Global Village TV, we discuss some of the issues of our time, such topics as health education, environmental issues, human rights, and other general issues. Today's segment is called Time for Satire, Comedy, and Banter. That means we are going to look at some of the issues of our time from the point of view with a lot of humor. We are going to discuss some of those issues. Before I continue, I want to make one thing clear to the native English speakers that I speak English with a bit of accent. I was born in a little village in Ghana. My mother language is Twi. In Twi, when you say good morning, you say Maachi. I'm sure if a native English person also have to struggle to say Maachi, in the same way I also eventually sometimes also struggle to say some of English words. For example, reasonable. I always have difficulties saying some of the words. Okay. So, having said that, by way of introduction, I want us to continue. I've been in Europe for a while, and of late, I've been seriously considering dropping my name, Robert. So I want to introduce myself fully. My full name is Robert Pepro Jamfi, also known as Robert Kofi Pepro Jamfi. Robert Kofi Pepro Jamfi. As I said, of late, I have been considering dropping the name Robert. One will ask me, why? Why don't you do it? Okay, the answer is that the circumstances under which or by which I got the name Robert is so extraordinary, I feel very reluctant to drop it. So I will just go back to the basics to explain what I mean. So in other words, I'm trying to explain how the Twi people or the Akan people, you get our names. So originally, I'm told that I was born on a Wednesday. So in that case, boys born on Wednesdays are called Kweku. To make things clear for you, I want to explain that the Twi people or the Akans have names for every day of the week. A child is born, they are given a name. I want to start with Monday. Without any discrimination, I'm starting with the boys because I am presenting it. So, we start with Monday. A boy born on a Monday is called Kwejo. Tuesday, Kwabena. Wednesday, Kweku. Thursday, Yao. Friday, Sunday, Kwesi. So, then, you go back to the girls. A girl born on a Monday is called Adua. Tuesday, Abna. Wednesday, Ekuya. Thursday, Ya. Friday, Efia. Saturday, Ama. Sunday, Akusia. So as I said, I was born on a Wednesday. So my name would have been Kweku. Then I go back to the names. We don't have family names. Before the coming of the Europeans to our system, we did not have family names. So I would just have to make it a little bit funny. We all know that Africa was partitioned by the Europeans. So their coming did not only lead to partitioning of Africa, the continent itself, but also to partitioning of our culture. So the issue of family name is something foreign. For example, my mother did not have to adopt the name of her husband, that's my father. My mother was called Ama Owusua. and my father was called Kofi Jemfi. So my mother remained Ama Osua to the end. But the concept came later on. So usually on the 7th day of the birth of a child, they are given the name. So in my case, the first name was established because I was born on a Wednesday. I should have been called Kweku. Then the parents look for a calling name, a second name for the child. Usually either the grandparents of the child or the uncles or some people of prominence who have done anything good for their parents. So it came to my issue. I was named Pepra. And how did I get that name? I'm saying that that person really deserved that name. The story goes that when my mother was pregnant with me, my father developed a boil and it grew an abscess. And as a medical doctor, I know how the situation would have been or was. And it continued to develop and develop. And there is a tradition, the question is, why didn't they take him to hospital? There are two issues to consider. First, there was a general understanding that boils, people who develop boils, they don't take them to hospital, they treat them at home with traditional medicine. So in my case, they tried it, but it came to a point when they had a wish to take him to hospital. But then came the issue of money. The Germans called Geld or Knete, we call it Kudim, Sika, and so it was a matter of money. Money was a stumbling block. So they left my father at home in that serious situation. As a medical doctor, I know it was developing eventually to a sepsis or life-threatening situation. And by chance, my uncle from the mother's side, he lived about 100 miles away. He came on a chance visit. And when he came, he saw, what is happening? Why are you leaving this man there? Then the issue of money came in. So he decided straight away to take him to hospital. And so his name was called Nana Kofi Pepra. So when I was born, my father survived. He paid for everything. So when I was born, my father decided to honor him by conferring his name on me. So usually he should have only given Pepra, he should have given only the Pepra. But in honor of him, they also decided to give the Kofi, which means he was a child born on a Friday. And so I became, instead of Kweku, and then the name Pepra, it became Kofi Pepra. I'm trying to explain how I came about the English word Robert. So all the time I was growing up, I was called Kofi Pepra or Kopra, that's what they called me. So now the question is, how did I come by the title or the name Robert? When my parents were growing up, my father had the desire to go to school, but it was in the colonial days. The colonial administration of the British colonial administration was more interested in our gold and our diamonds, so education was not free. Only the missionaries who came to establish churches in Ghana started education. So eventually my father could not go to school. So neither my father nor my mother went to school. But I was lucky. At the time I grew up, at the age of about 5, 6, Ghana was independent. So they introduced free education. And it was compulsory. Woe unto any father who did not take the child to school. The police will come and they will take you to court and sentence you. So it was not a joke. So you got the opportunity. And we didn't have any birth certificates. So what did you do? The recruitment took this form. You went to line up. And every child was asked to do this. Oh. The moment you're able to hold this place, your ear, that means you're qualified to go to school. So you're the time to go to school. Then, my senior brother, who was already attending school, told us, at that time I was going to school with my brother Kwame, who is 2 years ahead of me. He said, "Oh, if you are going to school, you have to get Christian names." Oh, so because you are not baptized as children, so my name would have been Kofi Pepra. I was not baptized. So he said, okay, what he was going to do was, he was going to write down the names of some of the English first names that was familiar to him. So when he called the name, when it came to a point when you liked it, you just raise up your hand and you pick that name. So me and my brother, two of us, it's a long time ago, but I remember that when it came to Edmond, my brother raised up his hand and took Edmond. Then it was my turn. Eventually, Robert, R-O-B-R-T. Yeah, I just came for that. So that is how I came by that name. So we were enlisted, registered as Robert Kofi Pepra, with no family name of my father attached. In the course of time, I added Jamfi. So it became Robert Kofi Pepra Jamfi. So then I came to Europe. And I realized when we were in Ghana, we were calling English names without problems. Smith, Washington. We were called no problem at all. But when it came to Europe, to my amazement, the Europeans were struggling with my name. So eventually, in Germany, instead of calling me Pepra Jamfi, it became Pepra Gyamfi. So eventually my name has become Gyamfi. Okay, I must say that I also sometimes struggle with new names. For example, as a doctor, I've struggled with the names, particularly from Sri Lanka. I don't know why, but they seem to have very, very long names. The other day, I asked one of the nurses, and they tried to explain to me anyway. So I also have struggled. But in general, my impression that Europeans in general are either not keen to mention African names or that is very odd. Okay, well, then I came to the UK. Oh, in my opinion, it's even worse. The Germans made attempts to say the names. They made attempts. But the English, the moment I call my name, Robert Pepra Jamfi, oh, you call Robert. Even no attempt is made. No attempt is made at all. So, as I said, I had been considering to drop it. But as I told you, due to the circumstances of how I got it, that is why I'm holding on to it. As I said, this program is meant to be a general discussion program, a program of education, health education, socio-political issues. Today has been about the issue of African names and how the Europeans struggle to mention or say it. The next time you're talking about health education and other issues. I hope you enjoy this program. If that is the case, please subscribe to it so that you don't miss any of the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful programs that will follow, that you hear from the Global Village TV. Thank you very much for your time.